Hey guys, welcome back to the Planeswalker Coach channel. I'm your host, Paladin Robin. Folks, I gotta thank you for coming back to the channel and checking us out. We have a Planeswalker review for you folks today. This Planeswalker, as you can see on your screen, is Chandra, Hope's Beacon. And you know what? I think this is an interesting Planeswalker. This is one of those that's very, very unique, and it's got a real flavor that's quite different from a lot of these other Planeswalkers out there. All right, so I'll give you pretty much the whole rundown on why I think that and what's the best way to use this one here. But before we get into that, folks, let's make sure we thank Webcore. Webcore has been awesome to us. They've given this Planeswalker to us so that way we can do these videos and keep you guys informed. That way you guys can know what's going on with this one here and then just use that to make an informed decision on whether you want to buy this one or not. All right, so thank you, Webcore. You guys are incredible. Okay, folks, let's take a look at Chandra, Hope's Beacon. The first thing I want to point out here is the health, right? So you got 105. That's a little lower than you would maybe want. I think some Planeswalkers are so strong that if you had 105, that's still okay because they're so strong that they're going to win before they're in any danger, right? This one is not so much that way. I'd say a lot of times when you have red, especially mono red, you'll start trying to do damage like, indirect damage, not the regular combat damage. So you'll play cards that, will do like 6 damage to your opponent's Planeswalker, that kind of thing. And when you play with cards like that, when you play with a theme like that, a lot of times it takes a while to develop. So you're going to want a little more than 105, but you know what? There's ways to get around that. There's ways to build things like life link into your decks, and that will help you to keep yourself alive. So a little bit low, but you know what? It works. It's a good one here. All right, mana bonuses. I'd point out that you got 5 for the red, 4 for the green, 3 for the black, and then you got some negative mana bonuses here with a -2 for the white, and then blue will give you -1. Obviously, when you play this Planeswalker, you're going to want to get these ones matched, that black, red, and green, and that's going to help you out a lot. All right, pretty cool stuff so far. The thing that I like about this Planeswalker the most is this passive ability here. This is probably what makes this particular Planeswalker so unique and, what I would say is so dangerous when you play this one. All right, let's take a look. Controlled Destruction. Expend 9. Destroy a block of 3/3 gems. Okay, so really quickly, Expend 9 over here. Expend is an ability that will trigger every time you play a card that costs more than the expend number, okay? So the expend number here is 9. That basically means that you have to play a card that costs at least 9 in order to trigger this ability. And then when you do trigger it, you'll destroy a random block of 3/3 gems. And I think this is the ability on your screen that's probably the most useful when it comes to building decks that are going to be giving you an advantage. The reason I say that is when you take a look at this ability to destroy a random 3/3 block of gems, that's going to help you so much with cards that have activate or cards that will give you simple tokens. Just think about that for a second. For activate gems, right? A lot of times activate gems will be a random gem on the board, and sometimes it's hard to match because it's in a bad place or whatever. This one will just destroy a random 3/3. So you have a chance to destroy that particular gem that you want. And what I think is good, and probably a good way to build decks for this Planeswalker here, is include a lot of those activate cards that have a lot of activate gems. Because if you got a lot of them and you destroy a block of 3/3, who knows, maybe you'll have 2 or 3 activate gems in that 3/3 block. And what's going to happen is you're going to trigger each ability that is triggered with these activate gems. You'll trigger them every single time you destroy them. So hopefully you're going to be able to trigger a lot of really, really good ones. That's going to help you to get an advantage. And that's really what the whole deck that I've built is about. Okay, so you'll see the deck that I built in a second, but let me get through the rest of these abilities here. Okay, so for 7, this is your first ability, Flame Reaction. Create 4 Combustion Flame tokens. Here's a Combustion Flame. As you can see, they are support cards with 1 shield. When you expend, destroy this support. When this support is destroyed, gain X mana. X is the number of red gems on the board. So this is an interesting one. If you're going to build for this one, like build decks to kind of work with this first ability, what you'll want to do is include a lot of cards that convert to red, right? So maybe Sunbird Standard will convert 4 gems to your Planeswalker's color. Or maybe include a card like Leyline of the Guild Path that's going to convert 6 of those gems to your Planeswalker color. And what I'm thinking is if you go with 3 or 4 maybe of those types of those supports, or maybe just general cards that will convert to red or convert to your Planeswalker color, then you'll convert enough gems that you'll be able to hit this 7, maybe 4 or 5 times a game, right? Maybe once every other turn kind of thing. And that's really, really good because you'll be able to use this ability once every other turn. That's going to help you to gain a ton of mana. And you know what, folks, I gotta say, this is a really fast Planeswalker. This is a Planeswalker where you could actually build for speed if you wanted to. I kind of don't do that in this video, but it does give you a lot of free mana just because you got this ability here to gain free mana. You have this top ability here, right? This passive ability will destroy blocks of gems, and a lot of times you'll just get these nice, amazing cascades, right? These gem cascades, and that's such an important thing to help you to win games because you're going to have a real mana advantage there. So really cool. Here's the next one for 9, Intensive Heat. Deal X damage to the first opposing creature. X is the greatest mana cost among spell cards in your graveyard. This one I don't think is a game winner kind of an ability. I think it's useful. I don't think it's super useful, but I think it's useful. You're going to have to make sure you have spell cards in your graveyard, as you can tell. And red a lot of times will revolve around doing damage to get creatures off the board, and this will help with that. What I would say is you probably have to find a way to get spells into your graveyard, and without that, then it's kind of difficult. So I would use cards like Blasphemous Act, which will deal like 15 damage to each opposing creature and your opponent. And then I try to hit this maybe on the next turn to take out any creatures that are still alive. That Blasphemous Act will get 15 points of damage on those creatures. It's probably going to kill all of the small creatures. And then you can use this to finish off some of the big ones. You know, that's probably the best way to use a card or use an ability like this. Okay, so let's take a look at the third ability, Skyfire. Create 4 Fiery Reclamation tokens. Here are the Fiery Reclamation tokens. It's a support card, enchantment, 3 shields. When you cast a card that costs 9 or more for the first time during each turn, deal X damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. X is equal to that card's cost, and then you will lose a shield for this support. Okay, so I think this is really good for extra damage. You'll obviously have to cast cards that cost 9 or more. And, you know, if you do that, it'll combine nicely with her passive ability, right? Because you can see this is an expend 9, and it'll just help you to continue destroying gems, which will help you to continue to fuel all the cards in your hand with mana. And really, that's kind of what you're going to want to be doing when you play this Planeswalker. All right, I really think this is an upgraded version of the original Chandra, the Planeswalker that we saw with Origins. Yeah, this is really the updated and upgraded version of her. So very cool, very, very cool. All right, so let's take a look at the deck that I built for it. You'll notice a theme. We have Activate here, right? Like I said, we want to be putting lots of Activate gems on the board because that passive ability will help you to destroy a ton of them. And that's going to be just something that's going to help you to win games, right? So you got Activate 3 for the Pyromancer's Goggles. It says when you hit those Activate gems, you'll fetch a spell from your library to your hand, and the last spell that you control in your hand is free. That's going to help you. I have this card here, Blasphemous Act, like I talked about, does 15 damage to your opposing creatures, and then 15 damage to your opponent. This is a really, really good one for damage, for really getting creatures off the board. That's one of the spells that will be triggered when I have the Pyromancer's Goggles Activate gems popped. And also Chaos Warp. That's the other spell that I have in this deck. And then you'll see there's a little bit of a theme here, right? We want to use these cards to destroy opponents' creatures. They're really good for defense, and that's kind of why I put them here. All right, so Chaos Warp says, pick up to 1 of the first 4 cards from your opponent's library, fetch that card. Then if that card is a support, destroy all opposing supports. Otherwise, destroy all opposing creature cards. So really a good way to just get rid of creature cards. Alright, so I got that going. Here's another activate. This one destroys a random opposing card. This is a really good one to help keep creatures off the board, keep enemy cards off the board. Demolition Field is another one. This one will help you to gain mana every time you destroy those activate gems, right? Then it helps you to destroy a random support that's controlled by your opponent. That's going to be really good. And then here, another one, help you to gain mana, right? Activate white 4. You get those 4 white activate gems. If you destroy one, you'll gain 6 mana and 3 loyalty. Black will give you the Death Touch and Lifelink. So again, you're seeing a theme, right? All 4 of these have those activate gems that we're going to try to pop as many times as we can. The only other ones I want to show are this one here. Helps you to draw cards because, like I said, you'll be filling up your hand with lots of mana. So you're going to want to have cards so you can get them into play. And again here, we're going to want to be drawing lots and lots of cards because there's going to be tons of mana just flying into your hand. Okay, so let's take a look at some gameplay. As we get this gameplay going, I'm hoping to put down a ton of those activate gems and then just keep destroying them with that passive ability. That's really the way you want to play this one here. You do a lot of that and you're going to have a great advantage over your opponent just because you're going to be able to get a lot of good stuff going based on what those activate gems say. And you can kind of tell, right, with the activate gems that I've selected, it's basically free mana, and that's really just how you're going to get a lot of things going on. Tons of free mana with this deck. Okay, Aurelia, and boom, you've seen the destroying of the gems there, that 3x3. Okay, Sword of the Animus. I like Sword of the Animus. It's a really good one because it helps you destroy even more blocks, as you've seen, right? And then you can see what happens when those blocks are destroyed. More blocks will fall in, and there's going to be a nice chance of you just racking up some extra free mana. And now what I'm seeing is that we have our third ability available to us, and that's great because every time we start playing these big cards, you're going to see the opponent taking lots of damage. That's so cool. I got that first ability really fast. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now what you'll see is that after we play this first card, your opponent's going to start taking extra damage. There's Rakdos, good for some defense. Alright. Nice, free mana, free mana, free mana again, great. Guys, you see why I like this one so much, right? Those cascades, you're really manufacturing cascades, and that's an important thing, right? You can put cards in play that are going to give you the ability just to get free mana out of nowhere. And that's what this deck is about, just getting free mana out of nowhere, basically by using her passive ability. Right, this passive ability here. You play a card that's 9, you're going to destroy some gems, and hopefully that's going to be enough to get you free stuff, free mana out of nowhere. So let's see if we can get that going. Pyromancer Goggles. Oh, it took some major damage. And then you see in the cascade, right? The cascade there gives you some free stuff, that free mana. That's really what I like about this one. And I mentioned when I kind of started doing this video, I mentioned that this one is one that can play really fast, and you can see what I mean here, right? It's loading up with a lot of the free mana that you're hoping for, and at this point we have a nice control over pretty much the entire game, so that's so cool. Alright, now as we're looking to play more, we're going to want to do this, and we have some gems up here that we can pop for the activate ability, so that's cool. I think what we'll do is we'll drop this a little lower and see if we can pop those with the... Oh, no, we didn't. Let's see if we can get it again, though. Sword of the Animus is really cool. This, I'm gonna say not now. I like to use that. Oh, look, we hit one. See what I mean, guys? It was free, right? Just by hitting those activate gems, we got another free card here. So cool. Folks, this game is going to be done soon just because we're able to just get on top of it. You can see all the damage that we're doing. Not a lot of it has been by creatures, and you know, that's just the part of this deck here, right? This is a really good one. It can play fast. Really, this is what you want to do for this Planeswalker. All right, this is going to be the end of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends. It really helps the channel. And let me do this here. Go like this. That will destroy the opposing creature. And that should be it. Wow, more free stuff. Oh, some more free stuff. Very cool. Lots of free mana in this deck. Anyway, good gaming, guys.